Shalom, folks. Hello, hello. Please let me know if you can hear me. Um, Forever trying to get this mic in a good position. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me, and thank you for being here. Yes, this is live. This is public. Um, which was very off the cuff and last minute. I'll give a little background as to what brings me here today, and that is I there's a lot of financial woes in my life. I'll get into somewhat of the specifics in a bit, but I was reaching out to our group, We the Hallowed, which is our art collective, and I was asking, what are some ways to artistically generate kind of a quick, donation based income, other than, in the past I've done a 4-day EP where I've written, produced, recorded, and mastered an EP in 4 days. It's awful, completely terrible. But I did it as a form of kind of, this service to be rendered in the hopes of generating some kind of quick income. And, I've decided today that, and it's part and parcel to a lot of the issues I'm about to talk about and maybe go through today, of why it's so hard to me to ask for donations or to ask for some financial assistance from viewers, from people outside, in regards to helping support, the art collective, We the Hallowed, and all of the costs of running the website and, the StreamYard account, but also, the release of the video sigil, the audio sigil, multiple records, and all of this creative output I have. And I think there's something intrinsically in me that feels icky, that literally feels weird about even addressing money when it comes to all of these creative pursuits. And it's something that occurred to me on the Honquinox, which was our collective, We the Hallowed, did a over 4 hour stream concerning all of the art and magics and works of various We the Hallowed haunts or members. We call them haunts, on March 20th. And all of the production that went into that and this beautiful service that happened. And in the back of my mind, you know, and through our correspondences, I was like, yeah, and it'd be cool if, generate a little bit of, revenue to kind of keep this afloat. And, there's never an expectation ever to make money doing any of this. I think a lot of us in this field, at least the honest ones, want to break even. They want to, help support the hard times, the harshness of an artistic lifestyle with not being in such a deficit all the time. And it was in that stream when it came up to me saying, here's a banner. Uh, this is how you can support through a one-time donation, the PayPal, or go to the Patreon where there's a lot of content, and sign up if you'd like to, or donate if you want to. Not that big of a deal, right? Sounds easy, but for me, not so much. Um, I was absurdly awkward. As a matter of fact, I'd really like to show you a portion of it. Granted, this was at the end of the stream. Um, but yes, V says, PayPal takes such a big cut. Wish there was a way the creator gets a greater portion of donations. Now, V, you're getting ahead of me, and I love you for it, because yes, I will address all of that. PayPal for me, specifically in regards to We the Hallowed, is a business account. So yes, of course, with all of this revenue that we're generating, um, or if any revenue that we're generating, it's never tit for tat, right? And I'll go over some ways of how I've gotten around this. Hi, Donia. And hello, everybody in the stream, by the way. Thank you for being here. Yes, yeah, I'll go over some of, this kind of rigmarole that a lot of people, whether in the outsider art aspect of album making, of songwriting, of podcasting, all of this, we are kind of a slave to this machine of distribution that does take a remarkably large cut a lot of the times. I've just personally found PayPal to be easiest for folks, but it's hard to get around such things. But we will get to that. I've also composed somewhat of a course of action for tonight's off the cuff stream. Not very off the cuff, right? But I composed this a little bit earlier to kind of make sure I hit all of these points, because as I was saying with the Honquinox, I made it weird. And unfortunately, money makes me feel weird when it comes to creativity. I'm sure a lot of people have that. I'm sure also that it's absurd to feel it like that in such a way that I do, where I've even made it weirder. And I'll just give you a little snippet here of what I'm talking about. So this was from the Honquinox, and this is how awkward I make when I make suggesting donations or any kind of monetary value for what we're doing. This again, can I be look at this. See that?
Give the boys some money.
No.
Keats is worth supporting. Listen, if you want to support a small artist, support Keats.
A small artist?
A small god. If you want to support a small god.
I mean, look how uncomfortable I am. And something so easy just to mention.
Support independent artists. That's worth.
And all these wonderful people helping me. I will say that Patreon, I get $60 a month. Well, not really, because I actually subscribe to a lot of other people. So I just have to over-explain to the funding of hosting the site of We the Hollowed. That helps to go to, StreamYard. What we're all on right now is $25 a month. So it's just, if you want to share, but it's not a big thing. Let's just never talk about this again. And here we are talking about this again. I make it so awkward, and in the tries of trying to be casual, honest, and humble, it comes off a little too humble, where it irks me to hear it, that I make it so weird. And it's gotten me into this idea that I have this incredible fractured relationship when it comes to finances, and especially financial income regarding any kind of artistry or creative output. Now, there's a lot to go over here, and one of the big things is that I just want to get this across the board. I do not have any expectations of financial gain from any of this. Everything I do will continue to be free. On Patreon, I make it a point to do Patreon specific streams and things, in that realm. And that's been a really beautiful way to do things. But there's no expectation to be, financially in the red, as it's said, about any of this. And I have to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to, ask for help. And we'll go into a bigger realm of that, because that's a deeper, darker territory of which we'll discuss later. But I just wanted to go over some points here. And that is, when is it okay for an artist to ask for financial assistance from the public? Is it ever expected? No, it shouldn't be ever expected. But the stigma between money and creativity still exists, and it exists hard within me. And like, I want to go over my relationship with the off thought, diametrically opposed goals of creativity and sustainability. I want to go over like when it's okay to muster the gusto, because there are ways to do it, and there are creative and honestly appropriate ways to do it. I feel that back then was like just the mud on the shoe of asking for help. And this is what's brought me here, is that, you know, the necessity versus expectation, the greater relationship with monetary means, and just desserts, right? Do we actually deserve anything? Well, more soon on that. But let me go over a little bit of background and why I woke up this morning in such a fervor where I had to, ask friends, what can I do in a short amount of time to create something to generate some donations or quick incomes? And of course, in my mind, even with the 12 albums that I've released, the podcast that's keeping going, this unmonetized, albeit YouTube channel, the live streams, all this, it never occurred to me to rest on those laurels. I always needed to do something else. I can't just, I'm terrible with promotion. I can't just say, hey, I just recently put out an album for wide release, a couple months ago called Bardos. Maybe you should buy it, right? That it doesn't register like that in me. When I feel the need to generate something, I feel the need to create something to generate that something. And that's always been a big thing for me. And that's why we're here today, because I thought maybe in kind of the hopes of quelling and quashing some of these internal struggles about this confluence of, you know, needing financial buoyancy, what I'm, deserving of, and also, the no expectations of it. So recently I've gotten caught up in this contradictory snare. I am a part of a major dream that's in the works right now that is basically a friend and business partner, one of my best friends and business partners. Um, and I have had this plan to buy land and to kind of create this customary lifestyle. One of my biggest dreams in life is just to live in a very customized world, right? To create from the ground up, to build. Well, he came in under some unexpected means. I'll just put it that way. And we got land quickly. And the land, is purchased and bought. We went and inspected it. It's in Taos County. We have the land, and 4 to 6 acres of it, of which I am able to utilize and not only monetize, but to live on and create my life. But here's the juxtaposition of me here in Seattle, with horrible career, I would say, stresses, understanding that I need to not only survive here, pay these exorbitant amounts of rent, basically having nothing in savings, and need to generate income in order to, purchase the materials of which to build this life in the next couple of years. And of course, it happened when it wasn't truly meant to happen. But I think, the fact that it did happen means everything, right? Because you can keep building and building and building, or waiting and waiting and waiting, and it'll never come. Well, it came, and here come the stresses with it. My education career, I've been an outdoor educator. I've been an art educator for kids for years, going on almost a decade now, and I've loved it. It's afforded me not only the spiritual resonance to work with nature and art through teaching, but it's also afforded me the time outside. Now, I've always been able to basically skate by with this education career. And maybe in the back of my mind, there was somewhere where I said, I'd go back to school to further, better propose a better plan for the career later. Well, as I'm hitting this mark in my life, I'm understanding that I'm going to have to shed and sacrifice some of these whims and fancies, such as school. I'm already in debt for school in the past. With this goal of Taos on the horizon, I'm not going to go back to school. It's just not possible. I need to change careers, unfortunately, and generate income, as fast as I can within the next 2 years to be able to, fortify this wonderful life that awaits there. Um, and with all that said, there comes a lot of introspection about, there's a bereavement, almost a kind of future letting go of this life lived, of this kind of really nice and whimsical life of being, an artist, a creator, an educator. I've written for Disinfo. As a journalist and a writer, I've I've written about comic books professionally. I've written about magic professionally. You know, um, I've been a live sound engineer. I've, you know, um, made money doing music and selling beats for people. I've made money, editing, doing video editing. So I've always had, this kind of side weaving of these what they call, marketable skills, right? The only thing is that, seeding all of these things parallel to also trying to survive and create and save and provide, honestly, has kept me in this weird, on top of this black mesa, this plateau of just existing, right? And it's been a pleasure, but I always knew that, there would have to be some major change. And recently I found out, because of some enrollment issues and what have you, even my education career is taking a hit, because of the availability of students to teach, honestly. So it's just been this one notch after another notch of, I cannot sustain this any longer, especially if I need things, to build upon in the future. And then you start thinking about, well, I've done all of this artistic stuff. I'm continuing to do all this artistic stuff. Um, and all of the costs that go into that. And it's really no bother to me. If I have the money, I'm spending it on, creating all of this, and doing all of this. It's my favorite thing. It sings to me. And there's a part of me that doesn't want that touched and manipulated or molested by financial, restitution, or things that would somewhat hinder the process and the ability to kind of go with my whims and fancies. Well, hitting the age, right? Hitting the age now where I've got to take a hard look at everything. I'm not saying I'm going to sacrifice, you know, any of what I'm doing now, but there's just got to be a hard rumination about, what I can do time wise and what is factored into, you know, stresses of the podcast, stresses of running the collective, stresses of putting out an album, and then not having the gumption or the gusto to promote or to, do things to help elevate those things. And where does that come from? Why the fuck is it so hard for me to ask for help? And not even help, just remind people, that there's an ability to donate if you want. I don't expect anyone to. But where does this internal struggle come from? When I was a kid, I was pretty impoverished growing up in, Albuquerque and the poor neighborhoods of Phoenix, the outskirts, and Maryville. And I just saw growing up how much of a struggle money was in, my broken kind of homes and different stepfathers and moving around to different cities and just kind of chasing this struggle to keep yourself above. And I think between that and this kind of solidified punk ethos in me or something, I've conjured this idea that, you know, I have a bad relationship with money, that money doesn't mean anything. And especially in the spiritual world, it can be very tainted. Here we are a lot of the times talking about metaphysics, talking about magic, talking about the embetterment of the self through the experience, the enhancement, the inspiration of creativity through metaphysical means, and how to, you know, break through my own addictions, my own misgivings, my fucking up throughout life. And when you're honest like that, it becomes very personal. It's not so much a product, right? It becomes something of which you are an astute sort of student of. And Pragmagic was always that. It was never meant to be an occult podcast. It was never meant to be something necessarily for beginners, or it was, you know what I mean? It was just always something there for me as an avenue to better myself, to give me the resolutions, to figure out these strongholds, these hangups, these heavies that I have within me. And I think that's been kind of the discord here. I think that especially on YouTube, there is this odd monetizable quality to it, that the more you put in just speaking about things, even if you don't know anything or have anything to say about anything, that generates this kind of fervor and this community to monetize stuff. And it's always made me feel weird because I don't want to just hit live and speak about nothing, or learn the same things over and over again, or discuss the same things over and over again. There's always been something about it that I've always wanted to, you know find that confluence between, yeah, if this is beneficial to somebody, that is a fucking win, but it's always going to be first and foremost beneficial to me, right? And I love doing it, and that's why I do it. And my outsiderdom of that, of not really being able to be an absolutist about things, of me incessantly asking questions, a perennial student about stuff, especially within the metaphysical community, does not sell tickets. It doesn't, folks. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of folks in desperation ain't looking for more questions. And that's me in a nutshell. I'm usually always in desperation, and I'm just always asking questions because I don't know shit. I don't know shit. I really don't. But I love talking about shit I've learned, and I love talking about experiences I have. But here in the metaphysical communities, a lot of these fringe communities, you come across these people that have just decided, that have just correlated unto themselves this kind of righteousness and this expectation of their audience. And it's always perturbed me. I'm not saying they don't own it. I'm not saying that they don't deserve it. Because it is a tit for tat procedure, right? This is a tango. If people want to give money to people and support people who are, spinning a narrative of which, I vehemently disagree with, that's fine. Do your own thing. Be yourself. I just think, or actually, yeah, maybe be yourself and don't be what they want you to be. But there's been this general annoyance, and it conjures up to me somehow that money is always a factor in that money is always a this kind of entrapment within the folks that I generally distrust. There are people that get around it, and there are people that have this true honesty with it, and I'm still trying to find that. And that's kind of why I'm here today, is to just talk openly and honestly about this odd relationship that I have within this content culture. Because I don't like the word. I don't like the word content. It's not really, a product. But at the same time, when it's something monetized and people get something out of it, and you're putting it out, I guess it can be considered that. And maybe that's just me, being pretentious, right? Maybe that's just me thinking that, oh, I'm better than that, which I don't. I don't believe that I am. And in this social media culture, it's odd not to think of clicks and currency as validations for artistic works or for output or shit, especially in the YouTube or live streaming, ceremony that this is. It's odd not to think that personality is rewarded with clicks and currency. And when one does not generate clicks or currency, what that might do to the psyche and how that might affect somebody thinking that not enough likes, not enough donations means, maybe I'm fucking up. Maybe people don't like me. Am I supposed to do this? I can see how that affects a lot of people. And I see this is why people come and go a lot, especially within this digital culture. And yeah, I just, there's a lot to unpack here. And like I said, this is off the cuff. I have some notes that I'm obviously not reading. I'm just talking off my dome. But basically, my current woes are personal, in the fact that my personal relationship with money has always been odd. And my father always told me when I was younger, because anytime money became any sort of a prism, fuck that, man. I don't need money. I'll just create, you know. And he told me that I need, and this haunts me still. My father told me that I need a better relationship with money. And it's true. And I'm not talking about a better relationship with asking for money, so to speak, but that's definitely part and parcel of it. And I do, because I've spent my life getting by with very little. It's funny. Another an ex stepdad of mine asked me once why I needed to prove to everyone that I could live with so little. you know and just those two paradoxical comments are pretty funny, because I don't need to prove. And as a matter of fact, I'm in a chapter of my life where I want to keep going. I want to um I want to provide. I see a future, and kind of a familial aspect, and with this Taos County land on the horizon, there's got to be some serious introspection. There's got to be some serious realignment, and there needs to be a better relationship with money. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, let's see, I've talked about, is it pride? Sometimes it feels like shilling, right? I know as a fan, I'm not a fan, I'm not really a fan, but as someone that enjoys people's works of art, or like YouTube communities that I'm a part of, you know, you get the whole gamut of people that work really hard and are upfront about needing the money to continue what they're doing. And I respect that. That's just not something that, I had as a part of my vernacular. But maybe I could learn. But you also get people that, kind of have a pride in shilling, unfortunately, to use that term. I know how ridiculously enigmatic that term has become these days, but in shilling ideas, and in in product, right? If it's a popular radio show, it's become so sponsor heavy. If it's a popular radio show that's sponsor heavy, it becomes so merch heavy. If you know what I mean, there's just all these aspects that sort of are necessary, I'm finding now, um in the means to make it a full-time agreement financially. But it also clouds me sometimes. And when I hear people talking about their merch and all this stuff, there's always like a barometer of when it's too much, right? You're always going to have these weird, intricate personality defects that you project on other people because you feel uncomfortable about it, but they're probably doing what you should be doing. And I think often about magic, especially. And in this realm, there's this weird inherent need for people that practice magic, or that are learning and doing and creating these things, to be of a certain ilk of, like, uh, personage, of heavy heroic personage, that money is it's easy if you're a magician, right? Like, finding your way to the water is easy with this dowsing rod of a career that you have. And I don't think that's the case. And I think a lot of them, and this goes back to this social media construct of how people are presenting themselves, you don't see the toughs and the toils of just how fucking hard it is, especially if you're just surviving off, doing readings for people, or doing coursework, right? Selling classes. Like, you rarely hear the honesty about, you know, the inability maybe to make rent sometimes, just because you can't sell your new book, right? And I think that's much needed in this paradigm. It's absolutely needed, especially within this realm of, desperation. I think we all find ourselves in, when we're searching for something to finesse, pathways into bettering ourselves, or to being better. You never hear much about the toils. You never hear much about the rough and tumbles. And that's something that I've always just meant to do, as embarrassing as it is for me at times. And which is funny, because that's contradictory to why it's been so hard for me to ask for help. It's been so hard for me to say, the last couple months has been really hard to pay for the web hosting, or the distribution of records, because no one's playing them, no one's listening to them. It's been hard to conjure up the, promotional aspects of things, because I feel weird about it. Like, you never really hear that from people, and I think we just need, or I should say, not just people, but creators. And I think we need to have more of an open dialogue about, what we present and what's underneath that presentation. And you know, yeah, I've talked about the absolutism a lot of people in these communities sell, where they'll find an aesthetic, they'll find um, a correlation with some system or some current, and decide that that's their forever, and they're going to be the expertise on that. And it's odd to me, especially within the magic and creative communities, there is no certification for expertise on this stuff. The expertise are the people who create these currents, or make them wide, or enhance them, right? It's not um it's not something you can get a doctorate in, right? There's no sense of doctoral. I mean, there could be in some education forums, but there's really not like an expertise in it. And what people are really abiding, it's not so much this idea of an expert. They're abiding a personality. They're abiding a vernacular, a lexicon, a voice. And I think we need to be more upfront about that. It's that I'm not interested in listening to this person over this person because this person has read more, knows more. I'm interested in listening to that person because they inhabit it more, that they enhance it more, that they deconstruct it more, that they rip it apart more. And it's just weird, this fallacy of how in this social media age, how we are constructing this hierarchy due to clicks and currency, dopamine currency, to folks that it's really just personality based, under the guise that they are promoting themselves as experts, or the voice of, which is super engineer. It's very interesting to me. I'm gonna take a little break. That was a 40-minute rant. Thank you for staying. I'm gonna go through the chat here. Thank you everybody for being here. Take a big breath. All right, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm way behind the chat. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you can go, you can get my records, especially the latest one, Bardo's, at dakotaslim.bandcamp.com. And I'll go over this too, and V brought up this earlier. All of these systems of distribution, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, PayPal, all of them take major cuts from the artist. And especially ones that don't make enough to not notice it, right? So it's a hard thing to go through. I've found with PayPal, because I have this business account, that I can transfer it a bit better. It's a lot easier for me. It doesn't take a big cut. And if you donate on PayPal, send me your email address. I'll send you every record I've ever made. I'll send you, anything I can give you, to show thank you, or to have some tit for tat, because that's important to me. I need that tango. I need that tit for tat. Sam says, I feel like you have a solid resume, though. You'll be able to get a good job. And the best thing about the office type jobs is they usually have free time to work on your projects. Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily going for office, but who knows? In this short amount of time, I'm going to have to sacrifice what I have been used to, and hitting the ikigai, right? I talked to Mitch Horowitz about this Japanese understanding of, your kind of true aim, where it's like what you're good at, what you can sell, what the world needs, and I forget what the other quadrant is, but I'm gonna have to sacrifice some of those quadrants just to make money to get to Taos with the materials I need to build. And that's just the way it goes. That's just how it is. Oh, Woo goes there. Is this Yogi? Yay, it is. What's up, Yogi? I was just thinking about you today. Actually, good to see you, buddy. I hope you're well. Let's see. Douse is much better than Ratone. Maybe. I don't know. Andy, good to see you. Thanks for coming. So I went on a little rant. I'm gonna let myself collect myself, go through your wonderful comments, and then I'll kind of finish. I remember when EA Quedding used to live stream, he would ring a little cowbell when people gave donations. That's like the dog thing, right? What's the Maslow? No, that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The dog and bell experiment. That's what it reminds me of, about the food. My mind's in scrambles here, but I think you know what I mean. Let's see. Robert Abrahams, good to see you. Thank you for coming with the Bane photo. Nice. Second house, ruler of and planets in second house. So mine, astrology has always been tricky for me. The main thing is because my parents tell me they have two different or a few different ideas of the exact time I was born, and the exact time I was born is not on my birth certificate. So there's a general consensus, but it changes a lot of the houses, at least in the Western kind of tropical astrology. So I have a very hard relationship with Western astrology. Not only, I mean, that's the main one, but there's also a lot of other things. But it's something I'd like to, you know, maybe look more into as I kind of give up and just decide what time I was born, maybe, or whatever sounds better. Let's see. Yogi says, I'm with you, PRAGMAGICK. I'm stuck right now between loving my channel and wanting to create a separate channel, more business oriented. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think I've just scrambled those two different path workings so much that I've kind of gone to a certain medium where the audio podcast is kind of the professional podcast of PRAGMAGICK. YouTube is used for liminal streams or live streams such as these, but also for video essays and music videos. It's kind of a smorgasbord of video art or social media stuff, as it is Google. But yeah, my thoughts on that, Yogi, is what I've been doing. I'm not saying this works, because obviously here I am talking about my relationship with things kind of not working financially or business oriented wise, is that to look more towards the medium and less to the name. But then again, here I am, making music under Dakota Slim and Revel Roz and different bands and having different characters and different things. So who knows what works, but yeah, try it. Why not? It'd be good to see what you've been up to, Yogi. Let's see. Michelle Embry says it will really take you up and down to dop chat pay streams for sure. Take you up and down to drop chat pay streams. It will really take you up and down to drop chat pay streams. To drop chat pay streams. Yeah. I'm 500 subscribers or so away from any sort of YouTube monetization. So, and honestly, I haven't been seeding it that hard. I knew that monetization, I'm more about the views or like the eyes on it than I am necessarily about the subscribers, although I'm very appreciative of everyone who subscribes, because they get to see things, as they show up, such as this. But to me, more eyes have always been my prize, right? It's the same reason why I still put one of my albums on Spotify, even though I took off all of my other albums off of many streaming platforms, just to kind of gain greater control of like being able to send them directly to people through inquiry or to put them on Bandcamp. But as far as monetization goes with YouTube, I don't see too much of a benefit in stressing about that when it comes, if it does come, and I hope it will eventually, I suppose. I just hear horror stories about, the 30% or so they take from 99 cents super chats and all of that kind of dark art backworking crap with Google. So I would always go straight to the creator. Ask them how you can help them. I know my dear friend Eric Millar, who publishes through our art collective We the Hallowed, has done a few books and has gone through Amazon, has tried Microcosm, which is a small publishing company in Portland, and just wasn't impressed. And I'm finding this time and time again. When I released Bardos, initially, I released my last album through promotion on social media, just saying, if you would like to hear this album or you want this album, send me $5 or whatever amount you want. If you can't afford it, let me know and I'll still send it to you. And it was the most successful album release I've ever had. A lot of people, not to mention, were just so generous and gave me far more than $5. But I was able to just have a one-on-one rapport with people, about the record. And it wasn't until my birthday in late February, almost a year later after doing it that way, that I just put it on Bandcamp. So that was, I'm still experimenting with different ways to kind of cut out this middleman of digital distribution. And 'cause Spotify sucks. I mean, it sucks for artists. It sucks for, I don't think podcasters can generate any revenue. I'm not sure, even though I'm on there. But to me, it's about more ears in that regard. And if people have the wherewithal, they will search out, like I do, as ways to support financially, whether that be through Patreon or, buying their book directly from them, their album directly from them, whatever. I think that's just the way to go. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, Jilly says letting go of old beliefs can be hard, but that's how we grow. Well, Jilly, I'm a Dharma bum. I consistently like to test the metal of the pillars that hold up certain constants within me. And We the Hollowed, part of our thing is, this kind of the only thing that connects any of us, we call the tethers. It's not aesthetically based, it's not religiously based, it's not even magical current based. It's purely just the need to create and the need and wonder of investigating metaphysical ways to create. That's it. We have this smorgasbord of wonderful people like Sam and Michelle and Eric, of all different ilk that create and post and do all that. Actually, I'm going to make a note because I want to read. Michelle does a tarot column for We the Hollowed, and she put one out today that sings a lot about this stream specifically. So let's keep going. Yeah, scarcity mentality. Yeah, I'm going back that way. I really am. Even when it came to this experimentation of live streaming, I've tried the weekly, see how it felt to get into the knack of broadcasting, see if I could find a vernacular, a tone to get comfortable within the socially awkward premise that this is, that I'm just speaking into a camera to a silent audience. And I've done it, I've tried it a couple of times. I'll probably still try it when I want to, but I think what I'm liking now is the idea to put more production, as I've been doing with the audio podcast. You're not getting as much audio podcast wise, but the podcasts that do come out are very produced. They're not just captures of live streams, very well thought out, narrative driven, and I want to do that with videos as well, again, as I have done with, say, my Audiomancy video, to kind of get back to this a lot of background work for something big but scarce, as I think the route that I'm taking. V says we wiring the brain to see money as positive abundance, rewiring the brain to see money as positive and abundant. Yeah, I get it. Can be near impossible with automatic negative thoughts. Yeah, absolutely, and especially with intrinsic kind of haunting histories, right? Of not really figuring out how to implement myself within the path work or the patchwork of society at large, and how to slip in and figure this out. And especially, I'm a late bloomer. I'm probably like 10 years behind where I should be. And it gets harder as you age too. You got to figure these things, and sometimes it's I'm learning that it's okay to kind of take these big breaths of not being able to be as creatively abundant as I once was, for kind of the financial security and progress that I need for this big Taos thing on the horizon. But it is hard rewiring it, because it's very depressing, um, and a kind of sort of, it's a bitter. I want to say bittersweet in future retrospect, right? But it's kind of bitter now, right now. Let's see. All right, Yogi says, I had a wild experience with the money spell very recently. We should talk about that. Yeah, absolutely. I've done my fair share of money spells. I think for me, especially within my magical praxis, what's very important to me is a clear, kind of concise path working, almost like doing magic to do the magic in a way, because there is so much lost in the shuffle and within your own mind, and what comes in into what you're projecting. And if it's not like concisely thought out by a myriad of different uh meditations, ruminations, spells, if you want to call them that, to get to a major one to do that. So I might be deconstructing it too much and making it way too hard on myself, but that's what I've been trying to figure to course my mental disfluencies, my own kind of mental health issues, and how to rectify, making sure that I'm being concise and fully communing with the intuitive part of me, even though that sentence in itself sounded corny as fuck, but I think you know what I mean. Sweet. Let's see, what's that Ouija board thing called? Your pink one would be a great, almost, oh, the planchette. Yeah, the symbol. Let's see, this guy. Oh wait, where is it? Um, yeah, the planchette. I can't show you it because it's just me here. But yeah, it's my symbol. It was actually created by Ryan Brewer, who is an old, he did a lot of cover art for a lot of the Dakota Slim albums. And this was when I was starting to really work within art and magic, specifically audiomancy. And we created that for an old band of mine that I led, that I thought just perfectly personified, kind of the kitschy, fun, aesthetically stuff, with Austin Osman Spare in the center. I've definitely outgrown it, but it's become a cool sigil in it of itself. But yeah. Sam, tell that to Crowley or Spare or any of the others who struggle with poverty in their later years. Yep, I know. I was going to mention that. There's a quote from Alan Moore that I wrote down, and I think this sums up, I think, what a lot of us artists in this field, or practitioners as well, truly want, and maybe humbly want, Just going about it to get there is always the rough and tumble. But he's said, I've got enough money to be comfortable. I live comfortably. I can pay the bills at the end of every month. I don't want a huge amount of money by diluting something that I happen to be rather proud of at its outset. That pretty much describes my attitude toward the idea of any of my works being realized in any other form, really. And if you know Alan Moore's disputes with Hollywood studios and adapting his films, that's what he had to say about that. And I've always loved that, because that's knowing when you have enough, knowing what you need, and yeah, and not corrupting or diluting, as he said, any of his art. Let's see. Basic engineering is a good start and foundation. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited. Not only am I afforded the opportunity to learn, I've done carpentry in the past. I've worked many uh, construction jobs a long time ago, but building and creating and that sense of engineering has always been a part, and that's my future. That's what I'm going to go get my hands dirty learning. So it would be cool to weave into something of the ilk where I can make money while I'm learning how to do something that I'm going to practically need to do. But yeah, we'll see. I'm still looking. I want a shirt quoting Keats, this dang dowsing rod of a career path. Yeah. Where's the water? Show me the water. I was joking earlier when I was saying, what artists think of their just desserts. In my case, it'd be just deserts. Just deserts. Let's see. Thank you all for being here. This is awesome. I was not expecting so much out or input, so much of an audience. It's totally off the cuff. So I appreciate you all. The magic community needs to start diving into the engineering and tech fields. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, there's got to be more pragmatic, theoretical praxis within it. And I think a lot of people do, especially when it comes to drafting and art. I know in my case, I definitely, within the form of audiomancy, I spent the whole morning this morning kind of refreshing my mind with musical theory too, and funny enough, and translating it to Delta blues, learning some Skip James guitar music. But you know what I mean, like getting back to the basics and understanding that language that's so universal to then build upon. And I think you're right, there's a lot of great technomancy, as it were, and people doing really cool things within programming. Engineering specifically, though, architecture is the one big thing that comes to mind with me, and just and its Masonic foundations. And I mean that both in literally and figuratively, but also not meaning to just the Masons, but this sort of like primordial metaphysical need to create and construct as us humans have. So I agree with you. Yeah, studying texts are important, but the best magic YouTubers are the ones who give personal insights to that info, not just read things from Wikipedia. Yeah, and no more fucking platitudes. Forgive me for saying this, but a lot of the magic YouTubers, even in currents that I don't necessarily follow, but I just like to hear from, not only give their own experiences, but it's never from a foundation of like these absolutely drab, dumb, void tweets of obviousness that I see so often. So yeah, just beware of obviousness. That's all I gotta say. Wow, there's so much. There's so much. All right, believe it or not, Keats, you're not the only YouTuber I watch who never uses the green screen behind them. Well, Oswald Spangler, it's purely because I don't have the correct lighting right now for StreamYard. But if we were on Zoom, boy, you'd be one happy pappy, because I'd get that shit all lit up for you. Maybe just for you. There you go, Pavlov. Yes, thank you. Wow, that's how far behind we are. Pavlov, yeah, was the dog and the bell. Perhaps an online class. Yogi says, yeah, but I'm at a my immediate future is not only a testament of sacrifice and um for time, but it's got to be very financially focused, because it is temporary, and that's what puts me to bed at night, is that I'll go back to teaching. One of our plans with the land is to kind of generate a falconeering slash outdoor education slash artistic commune thing that we're going to work on. And education will be a part of that, and especially for youth. So I know that it's just going to have to be putting my head down for the next couple of years, just to generate income as quick as possible and fix credit. Because tell you what, my artistic ass ain't so good with them credits. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much, Derek. You will succeed, Keats. Love your articulation here on this matter. Always difficult for me to. Yeah, and it's just I just got tired of feeling awkward about it. And hopefully, I know this isn't gonna just be a palate cleanser forever. I've obviously still got some more work to do, and I will also let you know that you may donate. Not you specifically, Derek. I just see, I'm already making it weird, but yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about. Here is how you support. We do a lot of cool things. If you don't want to, that's awesome, but if you do, that's great, and I'd love to send you whatever. And that's really what all of this came out of, was this inability for me to ask for help, or to be serviceable to my own necessities financially within the artistic realms. So here we go. Let's see. For my $10, can I get some corn dogs? Hell yeah, I will overnight ship the best gas station corn dogs to across the pond to you, Spooky. Let's see. Mushrooms genetically modified to glow. Woo! Got caught between a V and Robert Abrahams conversation, but glowing mushrooms, they sell themselves. Hey JJ, good to see you. Always lovely to see you. I'm almost making it to the end here. Almost. Let's see. Oh, and it just jumped super on me. Okay, well, I'm so happy everyone's talking. Here's Lee Guy with some corn dogs. Thank you, Lee Guy. He's my he's the baconator in my corn dog essay. My corn dog essay. Broke Bay. I used to dance under that name. I totally forgot that that's what I wrote when I was setting this up. I was just drinking some silly goof juice, I guess. Here we go. Derek, everyone has to find what path works best for them regarding creativity and money and occult practices and money. I chose a while back to keep them separate, but that's just me. Yeah, and yeah, and there's aspects I keep separate for sure. I agree with that. There are definite aspects. I think in the form of, broadcasting, podcasting, running the art collective, and publishing books, and music and stuff, I can see that being equitable to people that would want to, help with money or purchase things that we're putting out. That's fine. But as far as, yeah, I haven't wrapped my head around how to kind of be a work for hire in a sense, especially magically. That's something I want to, talk to Michelle Embry about, who I'm reminding myself to read her tarot column before we end, because there is just a beautiful synergy once you can find that balance to provide a service for people. Not that I'm saying I can provide a service. I can't. I'm just this, bumbling artistic doofus, doing a million things all the time, but you know, when you can, I believe that it's worth getting back what you put into it, right? If people are willing to give you that form of tithing or that form of respectful, you know, donation for a service, and there's no issue with it for me. But I'm with you, Derek. I think for me specifically, as of right now, there's not something that I could put a monetary value on that I could put out other than something creative, right? uh yeah, so let's see. I see no problems with using low magic like money spells when one is in a jam. I know I will again one day, but ideally when we're following our true wills, opportunities will form more naturally. Yeah, I'm sure that's part and parcel to what I was saying earlier about kind of, you know, weeding out my own magics in order to kind of create the pathways to find the pathways towards things. I'm not against, you know, a good old fashioned uh, spell of any kind or any of that. I've used them over the years, quite some success. You know, there's a reason. There's a weird reason why I'm a little hesitant now, and I think that's just because I need more accountability for what I'm about to embark on, in the sense that I'm not saying there isn't accountability when um, you know, when you do these, when you practice these currents or you do these spells or whatever. I think for me, so is that there's a part of me that feels like I need the hurt of going through the mundane as to try to figure it out, rather than necessarily going for the other work, because I do feel a bit in the clouds a lot. I'm definitely a person that has a hard time thinking about the future, um, or the past. Uh, it's usually how I'm feeling at any moment. I'm a little too present to a bad degree, which is a lot of where my mental disfluencies and addictions come from, right? Because I don't feel good a lot of the time. So what's a quick way to fix that? But yeah, it's been my understanding from my own working that I need to feel the sweat. I need to feel the hardship without going for the tried and true, and just trying something different and sort of mundane, mediocre, you know. But yeah. All right, let's see. Probably, hey, throwing it out there. If having an accountability partner of some kind would help, I'm down. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm gonna invite you to the We the Hollow. Remind me to invite you to the We the Hollow Discord, Yogi. I think we're all pretty good at keeping each other accountable there, and you know, it's a small little community, but I dig it. I dig it. Um, Money spells should not be complicated. Yeah, they shouldn't be, right? I guess it's the magicians, those bastards, us bastards, make everything so damn complicated. That's another like aspect of what I've been thinking a lot too. And reason why I want to dig my feet into the dirt more and to be a bit more mundane is, you know, because I am so discombobulated, so, you know, outside of the somatic, so often, because I'm just so intertwined with thoughts and angst and ideas and conjurations and all of this stuff, you know, very akin to maybe the psychical or the spiritual aspects, but very rarely the somatic. So I'm trying to be a bit more mundane and, you know, just healthier in the somatic sense, to kind of split that up. And yeah, I mean, ain't nothing easier than just working for money as a money spell, right? But yeah. It's also good to be complicated, I think. I love that about you, Keats. Makes you even more interesting. Well, it is a pain in the ass to live with me. I'll tell you that. Robert Abrams says Jupiter, the house and sign. Jupiter is in and ruling the second house. Planet ruling and planets in the second house and the aspect of those planets. Well, I am Piscean in the Western zodiac, ruled by Neptune and Pisces. So I think there's your two very contradictory planets, I feel, in a way too, but such is the nature of two fish swimming in opposite directions. But let's take a little break. Actually, I'm going to, I don't know, play some of the video sigil, and then I'll be back. I'm going to wrap up with Michelle's tarot, talk about We the Hollowed a little bit more, and we'll take some end comments, and then we'll go from there. Wasn't meant to be such a marathon, but let's take a little breather. Yeah, calm it down a little bit. So this is from the We the Hollowed video sigil, which is what I edited. All 17 tracks from different artists like Derek Hunter, Michelle Embry, Carl Abrahamson, Dr. Vanessa Sinclair, Siroth the Mage, all of these people associated with We the Hallowed. We put out, and I constructed this audio sigil that tethered them all in this cohesive micro universe of intention. I hate that word. We got to find another word. It's just so charged, right? It's funny. But and then I created a video component to it, which is what I released recently. So we're just going to take a little break and watch some of this. Keep me riding on my feet. These cold dreams won't give shame till it gets me. And on my mind to get older, but it's jackpots when you're dead sober. Fresh out, don't try to hide. Fresh out, don't try to hide. Fresh out, don't try to hide. I'm not a victim, it's my own hand pulling me under. I'm just conflicted as where I'm supposed to be better. And all the dead moves that don't help me keep sober, 'cause it's a false start.
times I know that you won't get low. And the times I know that you won't get low. And the times I know that you won't get low. And the times I know that you won't get low. And the times I know that you won't get low. And the times I know that you won't get low.
The Martian is a demagogic example, for friendship was not a physical part. The unconscious, this point, art had, but essentially of traditional, the silent monitor of tasks, signals or signs or synchronicities, not to have all the medical practitioners and therapists write them off as if they're like going down this road toward psychosis. And this is a problem. And people are making money in their lives and rather just let
All right. Excuse me. Yeah, so that was a track from me that morphed into a track from Dr. Vanessa Sinclair. You can watch that entire 42-minute video sigil on this here PRAGMAGICK YouTube station, or listen to it. Here, I'll put it in the comments. On Bandcamp, if you just want to hear the audio of each track. I recommend that if you download it, because it is donation based, you can pay what you want, or pay nothing at all. Like I said, a lot of this is we just want more ears, we want more eyes on stuff. I recommend that you, in your player, when you download, you make it so it's gapless play. I put this as a full uninterrupted track on the PRAGMAGICK audio channel. I'll take this time to show you a little bit about that as we move into Michelle's wonderful tarot column. So this right here is where everything comes from, where we're all connected, all of us wonderful weirdos and witches, and that is HALLOWED.com. Right here, if you go to the site, it's got everything. It's got a menagerie of different artists. These are some of them here. We've got more to add soon. There's Sam, Sarah, Derek's in there. Got to add him a separate page. Eric Millar has released some oracular devices, such as the Disruption Generator, which I can show you some cards of. It's a bibliomantic oracle. He's done the Bottomless Bag, the Impossible Game. All of these are oracular devices. I like to call them somewhat anti-tarot because they are so about the processes of the individual reader that there's no academic kind of construct to them, and I love that. It's very deconstructive. This is all the audio podcasts for PRAGMAGICK, and here is where Michelle is posting a weekly tarot column, which is just, she's my favorite tarot reader. It's hard because there's a lot of wonderful ones. I saw Bree Witch Please is here. She's a wonderful tarot reader. You should subscribe to her channel too. But yeah, just these have just struck a chord. And funny enough, before I even read this article, because she posted it today, I was ruminating on finances, which, obviously what this entire stream is about, and that confluence of artistry and finances, or when to ask for help, and when to purvey some sort of financial restitution for these alchemical correspondences as far as art is concerned. So this one's called the Alchemist Gold, Ace of Pentacles, 41222. Powerful rulers once employed alchemists to attempt the arduous process of creating gold from non-precious metals by way of magic. Though the tale is told that alchemists could, in fact, accomplish this task, it is said that they could not produce this gold in large quantities. It is also said that the attempt to perfect this process of gold making is how we wound up with both porcelain and gunpowder. If you want to conjure material wealth for yourself, be it a job or a house or a stable relationship, this is the card to center on your altar. The Pamela Coleman Smith depiction of the Ace of Coins shows us a hand coming right out of the sky to give us the goods, the gold, the material wealth we desire. If you have ever purchased a house in the United States, then you know that the process is destabilizing and uncertain until the moment the key is put into your palm. Or say, I don't know, land in Taos County, right? Through your work, the process from beginning to end, ownership is not guaranteed until the sale is complete. This is the best template for how the magic of the Ace of Pentacles works. You must focus your energy, your work, your mind, and your body on the desired outcome, and also allow for it to come into being. This means don't block yourself with negating words, thoughts, and actions. As an example, if you tend to come across as demanding and people feel alienated by this attitude, say, I don't know, asking for donations, now is the time to change yourself before your loan officer changes their mind. Magic is real, but it takes focus and personal willingness to use it properly. The alchemist traditionally searches for the elusive philosopher's stone, and the general panacea, panacea, is that how you pronounce it? Panacea that will cure our human ills and, most famously, toils to turn iron into gold. Powerful rulers once employed alchemists to attempt the arduous process of creating gold from non-precious metals by way of magic. Though the tale is told that alchemists could, in fact, accomplish this task, it is said that they could not produce this gold in large quantities. It is also said that the attempt to perfect this process of gold making is how we wound up with both porcelain and gunpowder. In any case, the alchemist made money for himself by convincing kings and popes that he could magically create wealth for them. The con man or con game is short for confidence game or confidence man. In this business, the con man does not gain the confidence of his mark, but rather offers the mark his own confidence. Could it be that the alchemist uses his own wages to purchase a bit of gold here and there to show the king? Might the magician be offering his own confidence to the king in order to continue the flow of money into the alchemist's pockets? Even if this is the case, it could still be argued that the alchemist did indeed discover a process by which wealth could be produced from little more than thin air. While the art of the con is not recommended, and I mean, this is so appropriate for what we were talking about earlier, putting our minds fully into the goals we wish to foment is exactly how we allow magic to work for us rather than against us. May our wildest dreams of wealth appear from the skies, which we have deftly deserved. By Michelle Embry. So yes, I mean, every tarot column, I hate to, I'm not trying to be, to personalize it so much, but every tarot column she's had every week has resonated so deeply about a very major, underpinning of my consciousness at that time. So you can read Michelle's tarot column on wethehallowed.org. This is what we run. This is what put out the video sigil. This is what put out, the audio sigils, put out records. We put out books. On the 17th, that is next week, we have a novella that we're going to be co-publishing with Lee Kirk, a Scottish writer. And it's an incredible book. And we will be promoting the hell out of it with the website and all the social media stuff. And all of this, as you know, ties in to, the ability to kind of keep it afloat. If you'd like to donate, of course, that is always appreciated, but also, sharing it, liking it, as they say, subscribing to the newsletter, which you can find down here. And these are all of our big articles, but you can sign up to the newsletter easily on here, subscribe, Patreon, donate, all this good stuff at wethehollow.org. So yeah, that's our big art collective. That's what we're up to a lot. This is what all the money really kind of goes into promoting and sharing and creating these wonderful be-ins, these salons like the Honquinox, these, incredible collective sigils, such as the video sigil, which I showed you just earlier, these audio sigils, these books. And it's really kind of the pride of anything that I'm a part of, because everyone here is so ridiculously disparate in their own artistic and metaphysical prowess and praxis almost, that it's a total dream. So that's what we've been doing with We the Hollowed. And yes, I Suffer Alchemy is coming out next weekend, so stay tuned for We the Hollowed updates about that by Laird Lee Kirk, a Scottish writer in the ilk of, say, Irvine Welsh. There's some Bukowskian isms in there, but it's also very mired in kind of this, real, what do you call it? Magical realism. But yes, so I will get back to the comments as we wrap up here. I just want to say thank you to everybody. I needed help. I still need help. And I needed help in expressing how to ask for help and what it means as a creator to do that. And does it corrupt? Does it spoil things? Does it dilute? And I don't think it does, and I'm learning that it doesn't. But you guys all being here and staying throughout all of this and listening to my hour-long rant through all of the dips and narrows of all of it was as much appreciation for the path that I'm currently on, that I'm trying to work through, as I could hope for. So thank you very much. But yeah, let's go up and conclude that. Yes, that is a refreshing and unique perspective, Michelle, says Sam Alam. I agree. Ooh, I like this. Robert Abrahams. Put that tarot card on a radionic box plate and let it run whole night. That's kind of awesome. I love that you're charging it with the actual luminescence of the box. That's really cool. That's a good idea. I like that that confluence of, obviously, of practicality and metaphor. But yeah. Let's see, Derek Hunter says Ben Jonson did an excellent play, The Alchemist, on that aspect. The con man, confidence man of alchemy, and might have been a dig at Dee and others, yes, and Kelly especially, I'm sure. Great reading, Michelle Embry. Thank you, Derek. And there's a Mary shutting off the say hi. She's all wrapped up because it's cold outside. Yo, you're right. I had the heat going. Let's see. Oh, and there's the dog barking. We're just wrapping up. Hi, Zara. Yeah, she's coming. Okay. She's coming. All right, and Lee's book is also regarding alchemy too. Yeah, that's that's funny. It's always so synchronous with these activities that we all have no matter how disparate we are in our works and our creations and also our our path workings, it's hilarious how many constants we agree and share. So it's really cool. Man, getting some great catalyst energy from We the Hollowed's activities. Awesome. And honestly, Yogi, the We the Hollowed is open for people to submit articles or submit essays, or I'll put a call out for people to submit to audio sigils or big live streams. So always be on the lookout for that, because we love widening the gyre that is We the Hollowed. Let's see. Smelt and forge alloy metals and certain planetary timing and correspondences. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny. I don't know if you know, Robert, my friend in Australia, who has this pigment company. He's basically like an actual living pragmatic alchemist that, through old grimoires and books, creates his own pigments for painting. And yeah, he is a true alchemist. I've talked to him many times, and it's under the Alchemical Arts YouTube channel, so you should look for that. The Alchemical Arts. It's a really fun process, and he's done some planetary, like 3D sigils through alloys, and that's what made me spark that memory. Let's see. Everyone, check out I Suffer Alchemy by Lee Kirk on April 17th. Yes, and please check out, there'll be a We the Hollowed kind of press kit and article about I Suffer Alchemy. I'll be talking to Lee this month at some point on PRAGMAGICK, and we'll give you all the ways. If you can, follow PRAGMAGICK on Twitter. That's just twitter.com/pragmagic_cast. I'll put it in here. And there's also a We the Hollowed one. Let's see, twitter.com/We the Hollowed. We also have an Instagram under We the Hollowed. It's pretty much the same. And my Instagram and Twitter is all under the pragmagic.com/ twitter.com/pragmagic_cast, because someone actually had that name with the K and everything. But yeah, what date was that? The 17th, April 17th. And it'll be out, I believe, via Amazon and Lulu, if not both, but I think Amazon to begin with, self-published. And so we will be blasting that out. We're all kind of rallying behind Lee as he puts out his first novella, and it'll be under We the Hallowed Press. So that'll be really exciting. And that about concludes that. Thank you all for staying. I know that super long-winded, meandered. Hopefully you got the gist of kind of the the toils and turmoils of things that are happening and the cadence of life right now. But know that I'm completely excited about what's on the horizon. And as I've told Sam and Derek and people before, it's not so much the sorrow of needing to change a career or to leave, or these financial stresses that are adding up and accruing so much right now. Specifically, it's the inability thus far to see the way through. It's for the first time in my life, I'm not reactive to major changes in my life. For the first time in my life, I actually get the foresight to work towards something palpable. So that's really exciting. But with that come a lot of the stresses on making sure that works out. So I love you all. As we say in We the Hollowed, the only way to achieve true immortality is through art and ideas. And with that, my dear friends, haunt on.
When we are doing the will of our true self, we are inevitably doing the will of the universe. In magic, these are seen as indistinguishable. That every human soul is in fact one human soul. It is the soul of the universe itself. And as long as you are doing the will of the universe, then it is impossible to do anything wrong.
There is this connection between everybody and his total environment.
Wait. I totally forgot to check the PayPal. And I just saw there was a bunch of donations. So whoever's here still, I just want to say thank you so much to, let me see here. Sam, thank you so much for your donation. I think you bought, yeah, you bought Bardos. Thank you so much. Mac Aid, I'm not entirely sure. Mac Aid says your thoughts and words are enough, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mac Aid. Vanessa, thank you. Love your work. Says congrats on Taos. Can't wait to come camp. You got it, V. And I really appreciate you, V. Thank you so much. Monica, I'm sorry, and Jasmine. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for purchasing Bardos and all of that. Wow, Julia Cox, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much. This is insane. Jessica, earlier, there was I think Luxa dropped some money too. Wow, you guys are incredible. I really appreciate this, and I didn't want to leave without saying my thank you. And I want to thank everyone on Patreon. Everybody on Patreon. I will do a Patreon specific stream. Thank you. I said Kari. Yeah, Spooky. You were the first one, I think, right? I typed it and didn't mention it. Thank you so much, Spooky. Kari, if I missed you, I apologize. There's a lot of you here. And yeah, I'm beside myself. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this help. This will get me through payday, and then yeah, we'll keep coming at it. So I just wanted to make sure I came on here and said thank you. Anyways, love you all very much, and yeah, big love, most appreciated. Thank you, and let me know if I can send you anything in return if you didn't purchase an album or something, or you want something more. If you sent me money, let me give you more stuff. Just message me. I love you all. Thank you. Haunt on.